The oldest black student newspaper in the country recently joined the Century Club. The Hilltop from Howard University made its debut 100 years ago. There have been some bumps in the road, but as Atlanta Now News' Michelle Marsh reports, staffers believe the future is bright.
Going through the Hilltop's archives is a trip back in time. Stories told through the lens of student journalists on the front lines of history.
As long as students have been protesting, the Hilltop has been there to cover it.
Editor-in-chief Jasper Smith is a senior journalism major.
We want to make sure that we are representing our motto, which is being the student voice of Howard University, whether it's holding administration accountable or documenting the lives and experiences of Howard students.
Thank you, everybody, for coming in tonight.
They're continuing a rich legacy of impactful local reporting that's been carried on for decades, beginning in 1924, when the monthly paper was co-founded by former Howard students Zora Neale Hurston and Eugene King.
We have a saying for Zora. We're telling the stories that we're telling for Zora and for her mission, as well as Eugene King, and for what they stood for.
Junior history major and campus editor J.D. Jean-Jacques says that mission was laid out in the Hilltop's first issue on January 22, 1924.
The first story ever written was about registration problems on campus. And that was something that they wrote because they felt they needed to advocate on behalf of students.
Was there ever a point where the Hilltop was in jeopardy?
In the mid-'80s, the Hilltop did have some internal conflict. And at one point, the editor-in-chief had fired all of her staff except one editor.
The now weekly online publication evolving with time and technology, proving its staying power.
The whole organization knows that this is a professional news publication. This is not a club. We're training ourselves to be reporters, to be journalists, to be people who are intellectually curious about our surroundings.
Where do you see the Hilltop going? What is on the horizon?
Hopefully in 10 years from now, we'll have, doubled our audience.
We really have the opportunity to become a daily news publication. I think some of the collegiate newspapers that we read, that we look at, are doing exactly that. And we believe that we have just as much talent as they do.
That was Michelle Marsh reporting. The Hilltop also has a podcast where stories are shared.